My sister seems to think she's entitled to my trust fund and lied to try and get it. There's a bit of backstory to this, and I'm not sure what's relevant, but I'm sure you'll tell me if I blather on too much. Mostly I just need to rant. My 38F family is a little messed up. I essentially had 5 parents and 3 different groups of siblings. It's a bit much. As a child, I was living in the US with my adoptive parents, and a lot of shit went down that wasn't great, so I moved back to the UK when I was 9. I had a lot of trauma and the beginnings of a rather serious drug problem, and so my US dad set up a trust for me before he died so that anything mental health related was paid for and I didn't have to stress about being able to sort myself out as I got older. It's been rather handy over the last 30 years, paying for a home when I was a teenager, therapy, rehab, basically anything needed to help me not die. At some point in my teenage years, I made contact with my biological parents and their other kids, and was welcomed back into the fold. Some of my full siblings had issues with this. Fair enough, it was a big change to everyone's lives. My little sister, now early 30s, apparently found it particularly hard, and so we've never got along and have been NC for almost a decade. This has become particularly apparently in recent weeks after she contacted the solicitors who are in control of the trust, pretending to be from a rehab facility in the US. She sent them an invoice for a 3-month stay, requesting payment to the bank account of a friend of hers in the US. The first I heard about this was a phone call from said solicitors offering their commiseration that I was due to enter the facility, wishing me luck and double-checking the details. Am livid. This is tens of thousands of pounds that she's tried to steal from me, money that she has absolutely no right to. She never met my adoptive parents. She's not owed any money from them. She's lived a perfectly normal life with both of her parents. Her other siblings, holidays, uni paid for, no big dramas. And she thinks she can just take from me because she wants to buy a house and thinks I should help her out because I ruined her childhood. Except she can't even just ask. She has to try and steal it. I have no idea what to do about this, because if I go to the police then it'll create even more drama in the family that I could do without, and I feel like that's exactly what she wants. Our parents will side with her, and she knows it. I don't want to give her the satisfaction, but I'm just so mad that she chose this specific way to try and take what's not hers. Feels like such a low blow. Obviously she's getting sweet FA, but WTF. Story 2. My SAL thinks she's entitled to her late husband's first GF's house. For context, my brother-in-law, 47 when it happened, chose to end it all almost a year ago by jumping off 12 stories. He was a multi-millionaire banker in Dubai, and he was living there with his family, coming over UK every now and then. They were very cliquey and always acted like they were so much better than us, because I'm disabled, unable to work due to my health, and my husband is a blue collar. Anyway, last year we received the phone call nobody wants to answer. When it happened, my brother-in-law's wife, Amy, started calling people to collect money my late brother-in-law, Paul, gave years ago. For example, Paul gave a childhood friend, years ago if not decades, $2,000 to get back on his feet, after years of active addiction. She contacted him to say she wanted the money now because she wanted her kids to stay in public school. For the US readers, it means private and posh. It can be up to $40,000 a year. So, to come to my story, before Paul met Amy, he had a 20-year relationship with Lucy. They bought a house together with a mortgage, and their agreement was to split the repayment 50/50. There was a clause saying that if one person would pass before the other when there was some repayments to be made, and insurance would pay the rest on the deceased's behalf. Which is what happened, since the first girlfriend, Lucy, paid her bit. It was only Paul's part that was not paid, as he remortgaged his part of the house with Lucy to get another house with Amy. Let's get to the good part. Now Amy is big mad. She got her brother to inbox my husband to say the insurance money is hers, and we are stealing from her kids. She knows full well we don't see Lucy at all. She lives in Wales. Therefore she doesn't want anything to do with our family, unless we get Lucy to change her mind and give Amy the insurance's money. I understand Amy is grieving, but I feel like it's an excuse and she knows it. Please let me know your thoughts. Any advice would be greatly appreciated too. Thanks, folded hands. Story 3. Male Karen wants a refund for a meal he bought a month ago. So I, 31F, work at a cheeseburger restaurant chain that isn't fast food. It's a new job, so I haven't had a ton of time to see crazies yet. But I saw one today on my 3rd day of work. This isn't my story as much as it is Jay's. Jay is a teen girl I work with whose identity and age I want to keep private since she's still a minor. But this story is from what she told me. So, I walk into work today and one of my managers is sitting at a table talking to this middle-aged looking man wearing a blue sweatshirt, green sweatpants, black shoes, and a dark beanie. Let's call him Ken. Ken and my manager, are 20 SM, are having a quiet argument. I don't know what it's about and don't pay much attention. I go behind the counter and clock in to hear J telling my other manager A, 38M, and H, 19F, what is going on. So evidently, Ken came to our restaurant like 4 weeks ago, which was in December. J was the cashier. He got a burger, fries, a drink. I don't remember the exact order. Then he ate it without a fuss, tried to tip J a $10 Walmart gift card that she refused, and left. Like 3 weeks later, Ken calls on the phone to rant about how awful the meal was, even though he ate it all. How he was too scared to tell Jay at the time, who works in front of house and not the kitchen, and how he demanded a refund. Jay gets a manager who talks the guy down on the phone enough to get him to hang up. Then 1 week later, the day I came in, Ken came in person to demand a refund. He claimed that Jay didn't give him a receipt and tried to argue his case. Then he got our poor manager R to sit down and listen to his crazy rant. The owner came by and let us know he was getting nothing. The managers told him as much, but the guy wouldn't give up. 3 hours later, when I'm about to get off early since we were overstaffed, Ken returned and asked for the manager again. I was there this time and told him the same thing. I left, so I don't know when this saga will end, but that is the most bizarre customer encounter I've ever seen. Some of my coworkers thought the guy might be homeless or mentally unstable. I don't think he's homeless because although he was in sweats, his clothes were clean and his face was clean shaven. I don't know what his hair looked like. He's probably off in the head and needs help, but he also might just be a Karen.